Hey guys, and welcome back to the next video. And today we want to try to get back into the top 10, at least in Germany for now, and then get slowly higher into the global rankings. As I said in the beginning, I will start off with in the season with a couple of guides, like how to do a couple of strategy. I did minor attacks, I did the Queen Walk Packer Smash attack, like the Warden Walk Packer Smash attack, and other strategy. I copied the other Hawk Rider army, which is super popular right now, used by a couple of the top 10 players. And I'm back to my own style of the Hawk Rider army because I don't know, for me it's working better. I'm using 3 Rage, the Earthquake with the Hawk Riders immediately into the Town Hall. Normally, what the other army is trying to approach is that you're coming from the other side than the Town Hall and making sure that the Hawk Riders itself are collecting the percentage to make sure that you activate the Town Hall. Because of this, you don't need the Earthquake, but at the same time, it's super risky sometimes to get even the second star. So, I don't know. For me personally, this army is way safer when it comes down to trophy pushing. I had way more success, and since, like I said, as soon as we are getting closer to the half of the season, I'm trying to push more without like commentating and all this stuff. So it should be better. Yesterday I went 5 out of 8, which isn't too bad. And yeah, I guess that's a great start for me finally into the season. We will try to get as many triples as possible, obviously, and I will try to show you guys as many of those. If you're attacking with Queen Shot Hawk Riders on your own, you can just copy my attacks and try to get the 3-star on your own. This base was pretty nice for Hawk Riders because, in general, it was really nice to Queen Charge into the Town Hall compartment, like into the Town Hall LA pretty much, to get at least one Inferno Tower. The Slammer took care of the second Inferno Tower, and then we got the Town Hall and the Queen down, which is super much value. At the same time, we didn't even need to place the King, which means the King can walk around the outside, make sure that all of the Hawk Riders are actually staying inside. He's tanking everything, and that's pretty easy for the Hawk Riders to make sure that they're coming through the core. One ability to get rid of all of the giant bombs in the core to make sure that as less King damages on my Hawk Riders as possible. I'm freezing the air defense to make sure that as many healers as possible are alive, and you will see this a couple of times. They're trying to make sure that my healers are switching onto the Hawk Riders as soon as my Queen died, or as soon as my Queen has full HP or something like that. So yeah, making sure that all of the corners are cleared. I can place the last couple of wizards, and this is going to be overkill. 3 stars for the beginning, and we have many more to come. What I tried this time is I tried to make sure that you guys have as less downtime as possible, which means as much gameplay as possible, because I won't show you guys the 30 seconds of my planning pretty much in the beginning of the attacks, just the attacks, and that's basically it, which means we have 4 attacks overall. This is the second attack, and what I do kind of often right now is that I try to approach the expos as early as possible, if it's possible, because as soon as you got them out of the way, it's super easy actually to get deeper inside of the base, because they are the main damage, like the Warden and the expos. If you try to get rid of this, it's super easy to Queen Charge actually a base, and on most of those bases, it's super nice because they're so far on the outside that you can actually take the King to tank them, which means your Ram can get even deeper into the base. For example, in this attack, you saw that my Ram got those 2-3 layers kinda into the base, which means I could enter the enemy Queen, even the next Expo. And at this point already, I have the Queen, I have 1 Inferno Tower, I have 3 Expos, and the Eagle down, and taking right now care of the enemy CC, which is huge. Poison spell, minion, always make sure that you have this minion or archer or whatever in your army composition to make sure that you can clean those pups up which are hitting your healers. Otherwise, it's getting super annoying. And yeah, then I just try to make sure that my Queen is staying inside, which didn't really work too well because I dropped the Loon too late. Now my Queen is banging the next wall, which is, yeah, a Queen thing, I guess. And now I'm thinking about, okay, where should I start with my Hawk Riders? Because the King is super annoying next to this Town Hall. So I have to make sure that I somehow pass the King and meanwhile still get the Town Hall down. I have one rage spell left because so far my Queen Walk did like amazing. So I'm using the rage to make sure that all of my Hawk Riders are getting faster into the Town Hall. I try to freeze the Inferno Tower and the Town Hall at the same time. I don't even think that it's possible with this setup, but I tried. And we hit at least the Town Hall. Inferno Tower didn't really got frozen, but hey. One Hawk Rider is triggering the Tornado Trap, which will be important in the end again, because all of the Hawks are going around the upper part of the defenses, which means at the top left, the defenses will pretty much be still alive, which means our Hawk Riders have to path back, which means at this point it's all about good placement of cleanup. And I tried to make sure that I get rid of the air defense, which means my Hawk Riders do not really have to path over there. And you guys can see 35 seconds, which means we're really short on time. 14% left of the space. We have the builder huts and we have the enemy king, still super annoying. And at this point it's super important that the tornado trap is gone. I'm placing the miner to tank for my 2 wizards. And that's it. We got in the end a triple, like 10 seconds left in the end, which is pretty nice. And yeah, that's the second triple for today. And we are taking a look at the next one. And like I said, this is going to be once again the same army. And this is, I like to call it the free triple. I know I already jinxed myself for maybe like the next day of pushing and I won't triple it again. But normally this base is like a free triple because, oh boy, it's so damn often in Legend League. It's insane. Like you can find it pretty much on any trophy range. And the funny thing is that normally if people are copying bases, they at least only copy the layout and not every single every single building. But on this base, pretty much every single time, the setup is the same. Like even the trash buildings on the outside of the base. So it's super easy to make sure that you get the funnel right on this base. I always try to do the CC early, start with the queen on the enemy queen side, then use my king as soon as I loot the CC with a couple of Hawk Riders. Then I use my king for the enemy queen, and at the same time funneling my own queen into the base, into the town hall compartment. And as soon as I got the town hall, I can start from the eagle side with my Hawk Riders, and pretty much that will never ever die because we have so many spells left for them. Normally like 2 heal at least, normally a freeze and a couple of rage as well. So it's super easy to take the space, even though, well, it didn't really matter if the walls were maxed or not. And the defenses are, I think, completely maxed, at least most of them. I used the freeze too late, sadly, so I had to use my queen ability. And yeah, still, meanwhile, the Hawk Riders are going. My queen is full life, and not full life, but still, my healers thinking, yeah, okay, it's time for us. We switch for the Hawk Riders. So the rage was pretty much wasted on the queen over there. But yeah, let's take the swag spell pretty much, and we have still the heal spell left. We have to place all of the cleanup wizards, meanwhile, to make sure that we don't run, or like we don't have any time issues. The queen is still alive because the healer switched back again. And one trick is most of those bases have the Tesla farm on the left, like on the upper side of this base, like next to the CC where the king is placed, etc. So if you have a loon and you can place it really well, you can place it on top of the middle Tesla, and if you place it right, then the loon will drop 1 time on its own and then get the death damage off, which means you can destroy 3 Tesla with 1 loon. If the Tesla farm is even more together, you can get rid of like up to 4 or 5 Tesla at the same time, which is super nice and super bad of the defender. Like the Tesla farm over there, I mean, it's not even surprising anymore. Like this Tesla farm is known, so don't place it over there. If you use the space on your own, use the Tesla somewhere else. But yeah, this one is another example of me going immediately into the expos. I'm using the P.E.K.K.A. to tank the first expo, and I'm using the king to tank 3 other expos, which means there's no damage at all on my ram, which means I can get 3 layers, and this means we can get the eagle, we can get 4 expos, we can get the enemy queen, we can get at least 1 inferno tower, which is huge. And after that, just Hawk Rider from the town hall, because we have the earthquake, so we don't really have to care about the percentage. And this means this should be an easy snack, I hope so. I'm still running the dragons in the CC. If you wonder why I'm having like dragons on my army, In most of my fails, I have either a time fail or I have my healer switch. So that's super annoying because if your healers are switching to the ice P.E.K.K.A, like to the ice Goblin and the P.E.K.K.A, it's super hard to come back from, because as soon as they switch and you run into an air defense or something like that, your healers are gone immediately. You have only one freeze and you normally don't want to use that freeze on the freaking air defense, which is shooting your healers. So that's why I switched to a Dragon CC, because this means my healers cannot switch, so I can deploy the healers whenever I want, and the healers won't switch at all. So that's why I'm using a Dragon CC. I think in general the Ice Golem and P.E.K.K.A CC is better, but at the same time super risky in those Legend League attacks if you don't know if your queen is getting all the time damage, which means if the healers are switching, it's super risky. And that's why I'm right now not using the Ice Golem and P.E.K.K.A in the CC. On this base, my idea was that I started with the Hawk Riders from the Town Hall first, because I can get the second star immediately. And the second thing is that my healers will switch, because there's no damage anymore on my queen, which means the healers will switch, which means in the end we can compensate pretty much that we had to use one heal spell for our healers, because then Inferno Tower thought, yeah, okay, let's target those guys over there. And yeah, this means the healers are keeping my Hawk Riders alive, even though I have only one heal spell overall, and I just have to place all of the cleanup wizards and minions, etc., to make sure that I get this triple. My own queen died to the enemy king, but it doesn't really matter because there are enough cleanup troops on the outside. Hawk Riders are making it through because of the healers. Meanwhile, wizard and minion at the bottom. I'm getting all of the cleanup done, and this means this is going to be the next triple and the last triple for this video. But let's take a look if we manage to get back into the top 10. And like I said, which pretty much proves my point that it's only important to push, or like to actually start pushing as soon as like kind of the half of the season started. So let's take a look. Around about 5.6k. Number 3 in Germany, which is pretty decent. I think we had one or two defenses left, which is still okay. Global, we are around about top 100, nearly top 100, which is okay as well. We could get a little bit higher, but let's see. I think that is the task for the next couple of days. That was it for this video. I see you guys in the next 2 days, and see you guys then.